Matt Swartz, Senior Editor with Expedition Portal and Overland Journal, and today I'm here in Moab, Utah at the base of the famous Lion's Back Trail with the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 2-row. Got the Trailhawk edition right behind me in Burgundy. I'm about to start the on-pavement portion of my test drive here. We'll check out some things like driving comfort, handling, power, technology, all the things you might be interested in if you're going to take this on a nice tour of the pavement. And then later today we're going to go and get on some four-wheel drive trails and see how it performs off-highway. So this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so after my first hour behind the wheel of the Trailhawk Jeep Grand Cherokee, I have to say on the pavement, it's super comfortable. You know, it kind of drives like a sedan in terms of handling and comfort, at least what I'm used to in a sedan. Overall, just a really pleasant driving experience, comfortable interior, controls are kind of where you would want them. As far as the air ride, you know, it's really great. It adjusts based on your vehicle's speed. One thing that's interesting to note is that the air ride cannot be manually set at a specific height indefinitely. As the speed of the vehicle changes, the air ride will adjust automatically, and that is actually how Jeep got 1 mile per gallon extra fuel economy on this model. And that has to do with it lowering at higher speeds to create a more aerodynamic shape, therefore increasing the fuel economy. Beyond that, I did some higher speed driving on some gravel and sand, and I had the vehicle up to maybe 30, 40, and it was great because in those non-technical off-highway driving scenarios, this is super capable. Given the fact that there were no technical obstacles that I had to navigate, I didn't really pick a line. I just kind of pointed it and stepped on the accelerator, and the suspension did a great job of handling all the bumps and rocks that I encountered. I did put the vehicle in sand and mud mode, and that turns off the traction control. I had a little bit of fun with that at some higher speeds on the dirt. But overall, just a really settled, comfortable driving experience on the dirt and the pavement. I'm on my way back down through Castle Valley into Moab, where I'm gonna regroup and head out to the four-wheel drive section of the experience. Really looking forward to that because on this version of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, we got an electronic disconnectable swaybar first, and that's going to be really fun to experiment with in some more technical terrain. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to get back on the road. We've got a stock vehicle. The only thing that was done was that the tires were aired down for driving on the slick rock, the sandstone here, for some added traction. We came up here above Moab and we drove sand onto slick rock, and then we went through quite a few sections with very tight turns, with some off camber and cross axle vehicle positions where we were able to get the vehicle onto two wheels to pivot. And the experience was really wonderful. I think with this, the thing that I noticed the most was the traction control being smart. You know, when we had the vehicle come through a steep up and then a wheel come up into the air, it would only turn momentarily before the traction control would send the power to the wheels that were actually touching the ground, which is fantastic. You know, I worked on modulating the throttle as much as I could, but the end result was minimal wheel spin in some pretty extreme terrain for an OEM vehicle that has no modifications really beyond how it comes to you. And speaking of that, I think one of the most valuable and important things to know about this truck is that it has a disconnectable swaybar, which is new for this platform. I believe that's accurate. New for the Jeep Grand Cherokee disconnectable swaybar. And that makes a big difference in terms of the articulation of the wheels and keeping more wheel in contact with the ground when you're in more extreme terrain. It really just helps you get through things that otherwise would be a little bit dicier. But always having spotters, intelligent spotters that know the capabilities of the vehicle is a very important part too. So, if you're gonna go and tackle any kind of terrain like this, it's great to have a second person with you who can guide you through when the terrain gets challenging. But if you don't have a spotter, the cameras on this vehicle are great in giving you just a little bit of extra confidence in terms of driving forwards through areas where you maybe can't quite see the ground in front of you. And that's a skill you should really work on as a driver to begin with. Look far enough ahead that you can actually see what you're going to encounter and try and keep that in mind. But, if you happen to forget what was right in front of you, or you're not quite sure what your clearance looks like, you've got a front-facing camera that comes up on the vehicle screen, can help you navigate through some of these tight sections. All in all, a really pleasant experience driving this truck off-road. I'm about to get back on the trail here, go back down into Moab, and finish up the drive. But really glad you guys came along with me, and I think you'll see that this is not only a comfortable but a really capable vehicle for driving on the highway, but also going into some dirt and rock type terrain. Really great vehicle.